Hey guys, sorry, I ran out of time. I could go on and on and on and on. I got a lot of information here, so bear with me for just a few. I left off at the ministry says the level of iodine 131 was 88.5 becquerels per liter in a sample taken on Monday in the sea about 30 kilometers east of Fukushima. The plant, the figure is 2.2 times the government's upper limit for wastewater from the reactive. And that's, they don't tell you how much it is here, but it's a lot. It's like thousands. Yeah, it's in like the thousands or hundred thousands times the government's upper limit for wastewater from the nuclear facilities. The level of cesium-137 was also the highest observed so far, but was below. They say it was below the limit, and I'm gonna get to that in just a minute to show you it's not below the limit, guys. Tokyo Electric Power says iodine 131 was 23 times higher than the upper limit in a sample taken 15 kilometers from the plant. This was the highest figure since TEPCO began taking samples 15 kilometers offshore on April 2nd. Radiation levels are higher in the sea to the north of the crippled plant. The government's Nuclear and Industrial Safety Agency says radioactive substances seem to be flowing and diffusing northward. The agency says predicting the course of the flow is difficult, and it will step up monitoring in locations where high levels of radiation have been detected, and that was Wednesday. Okay, now we're going to get into a different substance, guys. And this one's bad. This is thorium. Thorium causes cancer in your bones. It gets into your bones and seeps in, causes cancer. Japanese scientists, Science Ministry says small amounts of radioactive thorium have been detected in soil and plants outside the 30-kilometer zone around the Fukushima plant, where the government has advised people to stay indoors. Okay, where this thorium is outside of the actual zone that they've evacuated people. So this is outside of the 30-kilometer zone. So all of this has spread and spread and spread and spread. And now it's in the plants, it's in the grass, it's in the soil, it's in their food. And this one causes cancer. The ministry has been monitoring the level of radioactive substances in soil and weeds in Fukushima Prefecture. It found 3.3 to 32 becquerels of thorium 90 per kilogram of soil in samples taken from 3 locations in Nami Town and Ayati Village, 30 kilometers from the plant. An extremely small amount of thorium was also found in plants taken from Maye City, Ano Town, and Atuma and Nasiago villages. These are 40 to 80 kilometers away from the plant. Okay, thorium has a half-life of 29 years. Okay, it's going to take 29 years for this to go away, or even to become half, and it's still going to cause cancer. Still. It tends to accumulate in bones and could cause cancer. Now they're saying the amounts that they found are extremely low and don't have any negative health impacts if a person ingests 1 kilogram of contaminated soil, which is crap. Anything into your system, any kind of rad in your body is bad, no matter what. If it gets into your system, it's going to cause havoc. All right. It says there are more samples taken between March 16th and 19th. A nuclear engineer engineering expert says the fact that thorium was detected proves that the fuel in the reactor or the spent fuel in the pool was damaged at that point. So that means they were completely exposed and they melted down. So every time these melt down, this is what it produces, thorium. That's one of the byproducts also. He says a hydrogen explosion occurred at reactor 3 around the time, and the particles may have been carried away by wind. And this just goes on and on and on and on to say how Japan's been withholding information from all different countries, even China. China demands information on nuclear crisis. Chinese Premier Wang Jiao something has urged Japan's leader to disclose all necessary information on the crisis. They spoke on the phone on a conference Tuesday for the first time since March 11th. China's aid for the following disaster, they have expressed their appreciation, but they also go on to say that they need more and more information than what's actually coming out. China has urged Japan to provide information correctly and accurately and swiftly regarding radioactive contamination caused by the accident at the crippled Fukushima plant. And it goes on to say that China has banned or expanded its bans on imports of Japanese farm and marine products from 5 prefectures to 12, including Tokyo. And it says China's government says it will continue to monitor developments at the plant and radioactive contamination. So they've already stopped all of the imports, guys. They're not buying any foods. They're not getting any fish, all the way down to Tokyo. So that's telling you something right there, right? Okay? They're not allowing anything to come out because it's extremely high. It's very reactive, okay? And I showed you in another report. Here, I'll pull it back up to show you that it's in the sea life. Radioactive iodine and cesium beyond standards, which is intake limits, were detected in sand lances. Those are sand eels, guys, off the coast of, I can't say that word, but something city, about 60 kilometers south of Fukushima. Okay, this is where they're finding them, all the way down here. Now, eels, sand eels, even eels alone, are at the bottom of the ocean. They don't swim around in the middle. They don't swim around at the surface. They hang around at the bottom. They're bottom feeders. If they're having beyond standards being detected in them, just imagine how far this has all gone, okay? And this is about 60 kilometers, and now it's actually, I've got another one, where'd it go? But it said like 600 kilometers away. So now I had another guy, another person asked me a couple of questions. Sorry, I'm trying to go through this here to explain a little bit more in detail how to read some of these levels, and I've got those, but I'm going to go through just a couple little numbers right here. TEPCO Electric Power Company estimates that about 1%, only 1%, of the radioactive iodine at the Fukushima Daiichi plant nuclear power has been released. They store a lot of this stuff as well. The company on Tuesday announced the estimated radioactive levels of all substances at the plant's 6 reactors and fuel pools at the time of the disaster. The estimates are classified under radioactive noble gases, iodine or other materials. 81 million becquerels of iodine iodine-131 are believed to have existed at the plant. The utility says the amount of iodine-131 released outside the plant is about 1% of the total within a margin of error included. The Nuclear Industrial Safety said earlier in the day that 130,000 terabecquerels of iodine have been released so far. Okay. This right here, the 130,000 terabecquerels. I'm going to get to that in just a second. I've got a breakdown, and you're going to see just how high these levels really are. The levels decline naturally as the radioactive iodine-131 falls by half in 8 days. So radioactive iodine-131 does have a half-life of 8 days. The rest are 29 years and above. I could go on and on about this stuff here, but I'll put all these reports online at another site so you guys can really see them all together. And I'm going to do the breakdown real quick so you guys get the gist of what's going on. So, okay, this is the email I got sent, guys. And these are the true levels that are coming out of the plant, along with that 130,000 terabecquerels. Okay, and I just did this for 10,000 becquerels of radioactive per hour. So it's 3.7 times 10 to the 10th becquerel per curie. And curies we can convert over to REMs and doses and, exposure and absorption rates, okay? So 1 terabecquerel equals 27 curie, and 1 curie is 1 REM. And I'm going to show you that here real quick. And this is what they sent me. 1 curie gives you 1 REM an hour at 1 meter. So this was the original reading per curie, made up by Marie Curie for radium. It works well for energetic gamma and X-ray, but isn't the greatest for cesium, just because cesium is a weak gamma, but it's a very kick-ass beta. So if you've got Geiger counters that can read beta, you're going to find that pretty much it's going to be cesium, and you're going to really see the levels. Now, if you're using the gamma and the X-ray, the cesium is actually going to show up quite a substantial lower than it would if you were going to use a beta. Okay, back to this. Just for the 10,000 becquerels, okay, equals 1 becquerel equals 27 curie. 1 terabecquerel equals 27 curie. And these are what's coming out of that plant per hour. So you've got 10,000 terabecquerels per hour that are coming out. And if you times 27 by 10,000, you get 270,000 curies per hour, okay? And when what I said before, 1 curie equals 1 REM an hour. So if you do the math, this 270,000 curies is actually 270,000 REMs an hour. And I've said it before, all it takes is 100 REMs, 100, before you start getting sick. 1,000, it's inadvertently death, okay? And they're getting 270,000 per hour. That's a lot, just from this one alone. And you can do the math for the one that says 130,000 terabecquerels have been released already. So I'll do the math on the next one, but you can get the gist. You can see it here. So God bless, guys.